So this is Meld Studio, a streaming recording software if you haven't heard of it yet. It started on Mac OS and it's currently making its way over to Windows. It's in closed beta and they were nice enough to send me a copy so I can test it, play around with it, and give some feedback where I can. So thank you, Meld, for that. I appreciate it. Now, I want to go over a few things, the quick layout. I want to go over the duplicate feature, the snapping, cropping, the inspector, and the effects. And that should be it. So let's lock in. Let's get into it. All right. So on the left, you have your layers, scenes. Bottom, you have your audio here. So easily hit the plus, add your source, and that's it. Easily delete. On the right side, you have your inspector, which is basically anytime you click on one of your sources, all of the settings will pop up. Really simple, easy. That's clean. It's not going to block the main view of your layout, which is nice. Right here, I have a vertical layout built just for Overwatch for an example, right? I've been testing YouTube short streams, seeing how that goes. And let's jump into the duplicate feature real quick. So for example, this game source, I have it duplicated about 4 times. The main source here shows the game, and then I have it added a few more times as a full screen to kind of blur the background, just to clean up blank space. And then 2 more times to add in some of that HUD from the game. That way you can see a little bit more information on the vertical layout there. So that's pretty cool. And then as far as the cropping and the snapping, I'll use the camera, for example. So here I have the camera duplicated, right? And the background is blurred, just to have a blurred effect here. We're kind of beating a dead horse with the blur thing here, but it's cool. We like it. And so as far as the cropping goes, as you can see on this camera source, if you double click it or if you click the button at the bottom, you can see the crop here is done. And then the dots here on the 4 corners, you can just drag these to kind of put a curve on your camera source here, or you could do it with your game source, whatever you're trying to do. But it's that easy to give that curved edge on the layer here, which is pretty cool, right? And then the snapping, I wanted to touch on that. They'll give you these lines everywhere to help you kind of center or overlap perfectly, which is really nice. And it's not an aggressive snap to where it grabs it, out of the way where you don't want it. And then even when you're putting it directly on top of a source, it'll show you in your direct center, which is really helpful. It's really convenient. So we like that too. All right, moving on to the effects. Let me just go on the camera, for example. So down here, you have all of these effects. They tell me it's like similar to After Effects. I'm not really familiar with that, but those of you that are will recognize this. There's a ton of different effects you can add and play with and customize your scene or your layers with, which is really cool. You also have the import-export feature. So you can copy your effects and send them to other people or copy someone else's, which is really cool. And I talked with them yesterday. They're going to be adding profiles. That way you can set up different scenes and layers and have them set to different profiles. And I would assume your stream settings or recording settings would save into that as well, which is very, very good. And we should all be backing up our profiles so we don't lose those anyways, right? We should all be doing that. And then I've asked them about multi-streaming being integrated because that's been very popular these days, which would be super cool. And I've also mentioned clipping, which I feel like clips is like essential to any streaming recording software. So I can only imagine they're going to put that in. What do you guys think so far of Meld Studio? What features or functions would you like in a streaming recording software, and would you use it? Let me know. And if you have any questions on anything specific that you want more in-depth information on, let me know, and I'll be sure to get back to you there. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.